found this lovely old building which is going to be a real pleasure to paint, both in terms of its shape and its structure. So let's get back to the studio now and make a start. Now we're back in the studio, and I brought with me a photograph of a lovely old timber frame building which is structurally sound but still has a very appealing wobble to it here and there. So the first thing I'm going to do is to start to sketch it by using a centre line as a guide. Now, I'm not holding the pencil as I would to write with. I'm putting my finger along the edge to give me a lot more freedom of movement. So I can loosely and quickly establish the pitch of the roof. And to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional, I need to make sure that we've got a slight angle here. I'm going to look at the pitch of the roof and I'm going to compare that with the pitch of the roof that's behind it. I can compare all the different shapes and I can very loosely block in lines and bits and pieces. Now I can see already that the top of this chimney stack is level with the pitch of the roof here. Now this is quite a valuable thing to always look for. Constantly be looking to compare one part of the building with another. So I'm now going to compare the positioning of the central window with the positioning of the peak of the roof for the bay window. I'm not at all interested at the moment in the actual positioning of the glazing bars and that level of detail. I'm just looking to get the basic block shapes in. And the garage begins just about here. Now if I've got this right and the line goes up, it will just miss the chimney stack. So if we take that up there, we're just missing there. So we take the line of the garage across here and we bring it down here. We take that across, looking back into the far distance, because you always need to cross-check and compare other buildings with the bits in the foreground and the bits in the background. We can see that we've got another triangle here, and very quickly sketching in a tree shape here. And now I'm looking to refine the image by seeing exactly where the little architectural facets, the bits and pieces that make a building individual and unique, all fit in. Now I'm going to just move that line in a fraction here. I'm going to make sure that the line of the window converges a little across here in line with the 2 points of the roof. I'm going to just check that the door is in the right place. I'm now going to start looking in a little bit more detail to see that those 3 windows actually line up. So the line of the windows is just below the line of the roof. Let's just check that. That works. And the baseline of the window is above the line of the windows here. Cross-checking as always. That works. So I can now firm that up a little bit. Just check that the pitch of the roof is still fairly accurate. We're just using very rough sketchy marks at the moment, just to make sure that all the bits and pieces are in the right place. Now we've got a chimney stack here, which, following my own advice, I will cross-check because it's just below the pitch of the roof, so a little line there, which we can always remove at a later date. And there's a little bit of foliage that's just crept in there that's blocking our view of the bottom of that chimney stack there. Now, the final part here is to look at the wall, which is blocking off some of our vision. This is where holding the pencil in a slightly different way to the method you'd use for writing helps, because you're not restricting your line. You've got a much freer approach. Now that finishes just about here, and let's just see, there's a little bit of a road going off there. We've got a little bit of space as we lead up to the path here. The central door to the garage is here. Firm up that line, put a little bit more pressure on the central areas here and just sharpen the lines if they got a little bit faded. And now we've got a sketch that's quite loose and quite wobbly, rather as the building was, but does suggest that the building is actually structurally very sound. One very important thing to remember is that a photograph is a guide for an artist. What I'm producing here is a picture that's got a lot of the building, but a little bit of me in it. Now, when you're finally happy that you've got the structure right, you can start to add the detail, as I've done here, and it's now time to turn this into a painting.